What's up, Falcons Nation? It's your boy Jew coming at you with another Atlanta Falcons video. As always, Falcons Nation, rise up. In today's video, I want to preview our third and final preseason game between our Atlanta Falcons and the Cleveland Browns. But if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell so you'll know when I've done Atlanta Falcons content. Hit that like button for your boy. I appreciate each and every one of you guys continuing to tune into the channel. If you would like to donate to my channel, you can donate to my Cash App, which is the $ Jew Talk Sports. If you would like to follow your boy on Instagram and Twitter, you can follow me at Jew Talk Sports as well. But I do appreciate each and every one of you guys continuing to help me grow my channel, continuing to share out my content on all the social media platforms. But with that being said, let's jump right into the video. So like I stated in today's video, I want to do my preview for the last third and final preseason game, which will be played tomorrow night on NBC, Sunday Night Football, which I believe will be a nationally televised preseason game. Now, I'm looking forward to seeing the starters play for the first time this season in the preseason. Arthur Smith has held the starters out for the first two preseason games. So I'm very interested, intrigued to see how well Matt Ryan, this offensive line, the running game, all of the wide receivers, Kyle Pitts. This has been long awaited to see these guys finally hit the field during some live action. Other than the joint practices, guys like Kyle Pitts, guys like Matt Ryan, all of the marquee names, Grady Jarrett, Calvin Ridley, these guys haven't seen the field pretty much all training camp or all preseason. All these guys have done basically is practice through joint practicing and also in training camp. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing these guys get out there, knock some of the rust off, get out there under the bright lights. And I want to see how smooth these guys go out there and operate. I'm really going to have my eye on the offensive line. Being that we are facing the Cleveland Browns, this will be a home game for our Atlanta Falcons, but we are facing one of the better defenses and one of the better teams in the league last season that made the playoffs and made a pretty good playoff push. They was able to beat the Steelers, and they played the Kansas City Chiefs really tough in the divisional round in the AFC playoffs last year. So the Cleveland Browns are one of those teams that was much improved last year. And this year, they did add some marquee names on their defense. Jadeveon Clowney is one of those guys that is on that defense. Myles Garrett is one of the best defensive ends in the league. And they're really stout on that defense for the Cleveland Browns. So I'm really looking forward to this game, seeing how well our guys match up in the trenches with the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns are not only a good defensive line, but they also have a really good offensive line as well. Last season, they were one of the better offensive lines in the league, and they have a potent rushing attack. The two running backs out of the backfield, the Chubb Rock, Nick Chubb, and also Kareem Hunt were two of the best running backs last year, or two of the best tandem running backs last year in the league. I believe they were a top 3 rushing team in the league last year. And Cleveland is a really good team, a really good up-and-coming team. I love what their offensive coordinator was able to do, who they brought over, Coach Stefanski, who they brought over from the Minnesota Vikings. He's a guy that's a lot like Arthur Smith, believes in running the ball, is huge on play-action pass. And, the running game sets up everything for that Cleveland Browns offense. So this Atlanta Falcons defense is going to have their hands full with this rushing attack and with Baker Mayfield and all of the slew of weapons that they have. I don't know if the Cleveland Browns will play their starters in this game, but being that this is kind of like the dress rehearsal for a lot of teams, this is the last chance to get out there and show what you got before the real bright lights come on 2 weeks from now in week 1. So I'm definitely looking forward to this game. Odell Beckham is one of those guys that's a really good wide receiver. Him and Jarvis Landry, they have a ton of weapons on that side of the ball on the offensive end. A former Atlanta Falcons tight end, Austin Hooper, also plays with the Cleveland Browns. So they're one of the better teams in the league. They're a really balanced team on offense and defense, and they're a young and upcoming team. So I do believe that this is going to be a good test for our Atlanta Falcons heading into week 1, where we'll face the Philadelphia Eagles. But this defensive line of the Cleveland Browns, if they play their starters, this will be a real good litmus test for this offensive line of the Atlanta Falcons. Like I stated earlier in the video, I am one of those content creators that believe that we should have been playing the starters a little bit earlier in the preseason. I would have at least played them in week 2 against the Miami Dolphins, just to allow them to get some run, allow them to create chemistry on the offensive line for these guys to be able to gel together on that offensive line. And I wanted to see how smooth these guys are picking up Arthur Smith's new offense and how well the starters are picking up Dean Peay's defense. So I don't believe that they should play like the whole first quarter. I believe that they should go out there and play maybe 2 or 3 series, depending on how well the series go. So if the Atlanta Falcons, if we come out on offense and we're able to drive right down the field and score a touchdown, Arthur Smith may just pull Matt Ryan and the starters at that point. But if we struggle in that first drive, meaning we get like a 3 and out, or we don't drive down the field, I would at least give the starters at least 2 to 3 possessions to allow these guys to get used to the speed of the game. Like I said, Kyle Pitts is one of those guys who hasn't played in the NFL yet. He's only practiced against NFL players. So this is going to be huge for him to gain confidence. As you know, we have a lot of young players on this Atlanta Falcons team. So the best way for young players to gain confidence is actually going out there and playing, going out there and gaining confidence by, gaining their rhythm, going out there and competing against the opponent. So I'm going to be really intrigued and excited to watch this game tomorrow night. This is the last chance for guys who are trying to make the roster, because we will cut down the roster to the 53-man roster on Tuesday. Is the last day to cut down the team, I believe, from 80 players down to 53 players. So it's a lot of guys that may be on the bubble, and this is going to be their last time on the field, or the last chance that they can prove that they deserve to be an Atlanta Falcons, Atlanta Falcons player heading into this 2021-2022 regular season. So I'm really excited for these young players, players that I will be watching during this game that I think may be on the bubble. Frank Darby, the wide receiver out of Arizona State. He's one of the wide receivers and one of the young players on this team that I'm really pulling for to make the roster. Tajay Sharp is another player that I think is on the bubble. He did drop a touchdown pass against the Dolphins, a routine touchdown pass, and he's had a couple of malfunctions during preseason, so I'm going to be watching him closely. I believe he's a player that could be possibly on the bubble. Also, in the running back room, players that played well, Caleb Huntley could be a player that's on the border of being a practice squad player or being on the 53-man roster. I do believe he's been really impressive in the first 2 preseason games, and that's the reason why they decided to let go of Javion Hawkins, who I was a huge fan of. So this is Caleb Huntley and Quadri Olison's last chance to prove that they need to be on the 53-man roster. I think that guys like Cordell Patterson and Mike Davis are solidified at this point. But the 2 guys in the running back room that I think are still competing for a pecking order in that running back room will be Caleb Huntley and will be Quadri Olison. Those 2 guys are really young, and I believe both of those guys are fighting for that 3rd running back position or the practice squad. Now, on the defensive side of things, I'm really going to be looking forward to seeing guys like Grady Jarrett, Dante Fowler Jr., and seeing the back end, the 2 safeties, Eric Harris and Deron Harmon. Those guys haven't played in preseason so far, so I want to look and see how well these guys play as a unit. to see if these guys are gelling from the front to the back of the defense. I want to see how well these guys play together. I want to see if there's any blown coverages and things of that nature, because this is our last chance to see what our roster looks like heading into the first game against the Philadelphia Eagles in 2 weeks. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, as far as young players that I'm watching that I think are on the bubble, it's a couple players on the bubble as far as in the secondary. I think guys like Darren Hall, guys like Chris Williamson are two guys that are young. Avery Williams, the return man, who also plays corner. I believe those three guys could be guys that are on the bubble for making the roster. At this point, Kendall Sheffield, I think, is another guy that could be on the bubble, but he hasn't really played in any of these preseason games, and he hasn't really been practicing in training camp either due to injury. So I'm not too sure how that's going to play out, and whether they're going to keep him on the practice squad or whether they're going to just release him. But he could be a player that's also on the bubble. For the defensive line, it's not really too many guys I think that is on the bubble for the defensive line. I really think that majority of the guys that we have on the defensive line will make the roster. There is a couple of linebackers that I think may be on the line. Dorian Etheridge is a guy who played really well, I think, against the Dolphins, and he didn't play as well in the last preseason game, but he did pretty well. Actually, I think Etheridge played better in the first preseason game against the Titans, but he didn't play as well against the Dolphins. So I'll be watching him. He's one of those young linebackers out of Louisville that I really like on this team. Also, Earl Thompson is another linebacker, inside linebacker, that also could be on the bubble. So I'll be watching him closely in this game as well. Those are two guys that are in that linebacking unit that I could see being cut from the team or being on the practice squad. So I'll be watching that closely. And then last but not least, in the quarterback room, guys like Felipe Franks and Josh Rosen. Those two guys will be competing for the second quarterback position. I believe we'll eventually end up carrying three quarterbacks, because I believe that either Josh Rosen or Felipe Franks will make the practice squad. But this is their last chance to prove that they deserve to be on the 53-man roster. Personally, I think that Felipe Franks is going to beat out Josh Rosen for that second quarterback position. We'll see how it plays out in this game. But I believe, being that Felipe Franks has been with the team the full training camp, I'm not too sure how well Josh Rosen is going to be able to pick up the offense just in a week's time. So with that being said, this been your boy Jew. You guys let me know what you think of the video. Let me know of players you think that may be on the bubble. But with that being said, I'm definitely looking forward to this game tomorrow. I want to see a clean game by our starters. I don't want to see a bunch of penalties. I want to see how well these guys go out there and tackle on the defensive side of things. But I do want to see if these guys are out there like a smooth oil machine, or if there's going to be hiccups, being that these guys haven't had a lot of game time. So with that being said, this being your boy Jew, I'll holler at you guys in the next video. As always, Falcons Nation, rise up. If you haven't already hit that subscribe button, please hit that subscribe button. Help your boy on his quest to 2,000 subscribers. And also, if you would go over to Atlanta Falcons Nation as well, hit that like and subscribe button there. We're on the road to 2,000 subscribers as well there. But I'm super excited. The NFL regular season is back in a couple weeks. But with that being said, I have a lot more coming for you guys. As always, Atlanta Falcons Nation, rise up. Peace.